I'd like to tell you a little bit here about Jay Chollick. He's been reading poetry in and around New York City area for many years and continues to surprise us with new and exquisite works weekly. His poetry has appeared online at poetz.com, the Shout Out at Otto's, blogspot.com, Poetry Central, which was started through Saturn series poetry reading, and Big City Lit, and among others probably, and is included in the anthology Cat Breath, edited by Miriam Stanley, among many other places. He's published several chapbooks of his own poetry, and most recently Colors, published by Exot Books. He has a WordPress site, J Chollick, as one word, .wordpress.com, very easy to find. It's on my Facebook page. And also, this information is also on the website zupolo.com. So please check out Jay's WordPress site. It's got some lovely pieces there. But I can't say how much I appreciate it. I can't say enough how much I appreciate this wonderful poet. Please welcome Jay Chollick.
We will see. Does it come through?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to.
It may prevent my looking right, because I'll either paralyze my neck or else I'll ruin the sound system. Mine, one of the two. Okay, very good. Thanks a lot, and really so good to be here again, and welcoming lots and lots of old, really good friends, and better still, really good poets. So I'm going to start out with something that's a little lewd, just skirting crude, a little rude to set the mood. Isn't piss the glorious of liquids? With yellow sparkling its impurities, how appropriate that a basic color describing a basic function does it best. And when the turd of blind imagining is from its anal home sent porcelain to its destiny, with brown and brawny straining its seated exercise, is there a color in that great revolving wheel, dizzying the rainbow that does not spin in brilliance, predestined toward its cubbyhole, where it sinks in, becomes the native color of its habitat? Thus flame is cadmium, and the pale cream of sperm is white with yellow ochre hovering. And does not death, with black and purple tears, line absence with white tufting, coffin-wise? Isn't the truth found everywhere, tearing the summer house apart with the ignominy of a multicolored belch? Or somewhere tinkle tiny, toilet tiled, where puke's not puce, but greenish from a bellyful? Or in Florida, God help us all, where voting red turns pink when cranes alight? It colors the canary, hard to fart, entirely yellow, stains windows lavender with twilight, gives love's excruciating need its cobalt bed, and to Staten Island, under the black plastic of its name, it gives a garbage dump, the boroughs heaped, it's mounded with the colored stink of everything. NYC, bliss, the city's pearl cement, here come its shadows, hard river light and all the lurid history of its peers. Come here, I say, you beautiful brain, this city is a gathering of intelligence, that from the merry angularity of its bones, each one a bridge to blonde, to snub-nosed, tawny hide, or to the skinny angel begging, and from the fury of its meadows, that younger countryside when history was a musket in a farmer's hand, to this dizzying polyglot, give it to me. Give vague and something overhung like city stars. Let thought transpire, recreate its Eden here. Walk bare, be quiet for a shadowed hour, but then cry out, New York, dung pedestal. I will stand my Jewish majesty on that. My bearded face, my head will have the density of Ethiopia. No heart, of course. I'll have a thumping basketball. Greek bellowed lung, Italian to my preopic tip, named blank Bangladesh, and in my Asian hand is God knows what. Still in the city, but on 47th Street. To look, to scrutinize, to live bejeweled and at the diamond heart of things, or where the neon ruby winks, there is through this imagination carved, heaved clumsily, there is a street. Fat men, bumptious with cold gold, are here, their pockets choked, and thanks to stealth, walk diamond heavy casual. Detective eyes are watching them. From everywhere they blend and swallowed up become the world, tourista and the native born. They swarming walk, they loiter always covetous. They stroll, they goggle ice-eyed cyclops, thronging it, its length, hard-bitten jewel, this block-long diamond citadel, which is to a down and dirty jeweler's loop, so bulletproofed that behind each window's Alcatraz no bauble cowers, but muffled decorous with under velvet shuddering is history. Call it convulsions, jewel. Each facet, shadowed by ferocity, knows murderous, if only by its echoing nose, kidnapped, bloody, soaked in sacks, nose, being dragged will no gem shriek, and ripped barbaric Tamerlane from crowns, or shyster snatched, knows heist, and headline knows the mob, and each gasping jewel who tugged at them, poor Duchess strangled sapphire for her throat. This velvet shakes, holds diamond cities under it. See Antwerp, drag it out, see Amsterdam, and Brussels blazing downward, see how business shifts, and how with grime and hard modernity, New York says, here, come, come, and says it brash, says, hello, dazzle. Has it begun? That switcheroo, with every gem-encrusted cubbyhole in place, say yes, resoundingly the affirmative, then this, that diamond dust is native born, and in its 47th glittering new buildings lift and swell, they tangle spillage with the neighborhood. Its traffic, foot and otherwise, this street is jammed with trucks slow grinding their delivery, the vans packed gutter tight, and everything on wheels unloading noise. It's all absorbed. Light too, shop windows blaze, and drawn by this fluorescent glare, pedestrians, each one perverted moth, light crazed, their eyes break in, grab gaudy fistfuls of the swag, grab rings, a diamond waterfall, the Canadian side of necklaces, grab bracelets, Rolex for a pudgy wrist, grab half seen from countertops their careless goldo passers-by, relentless thief. Oh, an unsteady Mike. All right, thank you very much. It's my most fervent cries to this one. The Canadian side of necklaces: grab bracelets, Rolex for a pudgy wrist. Grab, half seen from countertops, their careless gold. Oh, passerby, relentless thief, but starving, barren in the gut. Grab lunch, wolf down a diamond sandwich now. Throw in a knish, but fat man, save a crumb. For on this golden garbage, they're coming for me. I knew it. For on this golden garbage, pigeons peck, hey, everything is connected here. Small Yiddish peppering the undertow. To coalesce, America, America. And hodgepodge, all things inside this virile minute live. Ear, eye, and fingertip, the senses lift. Sniff Europe in the alleyways. Then old world squint, make out a stool, a bench, a grinding wheel, precision's microscopic tools, and omnipresent over them, the one who always, over topaz bent, touch everything. Caress with cautious fingertips a deeper mold, and how it greenly into Medici sapped bloodless jewels, how emeralds, but stop it. What's ancient fades its blur, too dim for scrutiny. No loss, the hoary tidbits, bothersome, succumb to youth. Some poets say it's those born modern in their fat who burn the past, thrive hard on noise and this enveloped street, but poets lie. They loathe the truck, go whirling past it, flip its wheel, still hot heads cool, they simmer down the day as well. With twilight ebbing, there's less talk. Now haggle fades, and wheedle and entice the diamond words. Soft sell, and everything that's fabulous they are, with darkening windows, quieted. There's not much left, just night on steel gates crashing down, and up, meaning up for grabs. A jeweler's sky, black velvet with a moon, no moon, just a pearl in silence nestled there. A perfect city. Being time zone timorous, she stays east. And from her porch, watching the fire of a dying sun, or the moon's decrepitude, its tattering of light, or watching over her perfect city, the clouds vaporous in their moving avalanche, falling upon her simple flesh, sometimes as pelting rain, she is content. Or how, circling her and moving noiseless on the porch, she strokes the silver fur of cats with reverent fingertips. Even the fence in her blue vision is lodged like holy wood, though its pickets almost disappear. Clematis, leaping over petals, is overwhelming them. Then why? Through the concrete genuflection of developers, has it all changed? Become encroaching, a skyline of threats surrounding her, tight with new stone and green wood hammering, with brick still steaming from the kiln, cemented vertical, punched through as faceless walls, 10,000th window she is closed in. The light in its great burst is leaving her. The tree has fainting in its bark, and the perfect city, holding her worshipful, is transformed with dust and traffic to that hugest word, an almost megalopolis. And no matter if the sky is kind, she remains with cat and fence, time's dispossessed. a deeply saddened relic who lives in this poor place, who lives but buried there. And then because of this whole Russian ruckus, and no thanks to Tatiana, I have 3 Russian poems, relatively not terribly recent. Cyrillic scribble. Pick up this poem, analyze. Is Russia here? Is there vodka in the lines? A bleeny sensibility? Are there embedded words so Fabergé in diamond hardness that no meanings crack? And how some in jeweled malevolence, Rasputin's eye, the curving yellow dagger of his fingernail, how they suggest black-bearded and irrational the bursting time, musket and banner loosening, and is there fur, some sable to wrap a frump Tsarina in to doll her up? But why in triplicate? Why does pogrom push into this? Along with him, doom-blooded hemophiliac, the heir, poor child, is there depthless in the mind, a landscape teeming with Siberias? Is there a gulag we have not been tortured in? A Stalin with no Joseph in his name? Is there in this poor scribbled poetry a room for Pushkin and his ilk in Russian inwoven silk? And for what we poets burn to know, is Rimsky always Korsakov?
Can I have one little comment? The first pogrom started in Kiev.
Oh,
Just for your knowledge.
okay.
It's a historic part.
Okay. Soon to be forgotten, like everything else
Okay.
by me. The second Russian poem is called Written in St. Petersburg. It's not just for the Romanovs, a gilded poem. It's got vodka in the lines, a bleaning sensibility. It stretches teeming with Siberias, it overflows. And though everything floods into it, there's not a radish overlooked, a potato left mealy in the flames, or the bouncing into bubbles of iconic brass. This poem boils, it elevates the samovar, extols the birch, and like a Cossack with an adjective, with Pushkin pounding through the poetry, he becomes no pride of nationhood, but a large peculiar majesty that disappears. For muddy is the moonlight now, and nothing burning that is left, says Gulag to the wanderer. It's just that ghastly time of mob and diamond bleeding, that life has died. And where I write of it, this palace, just a dirty room, there's only small remembered satin left in rags. 3, 4, or against Russia, I'm not sure. Having Russian relatives, I know Russians. Oh, motherland, it's here, and not so long ago in Russia, former Soviet. It's where a death of coy invisibility was planned, but not before Cyrillic spat, word murderous, became decree. The arid paragraph that poisoned him, that was with chilling swiftness sent, and from Kremlin to the chandelier, a room so marbled with embroidery that its ceiling swirled, and where small and lofty Putin sat, knew Ivan, the terrible, as resurrect, but flat, with modern eyes, and a face sloping its pale way toward boiling and vindictive iron. We begged him stop, and with the balalaika to its vitals plucked, to reconsider, take time before the slaughtering, to ruminate, but he would not, for vengeance is inexorable. And so polonium was the aerosol, was undetectable, It sprayed through sleeves and entered him, poor Litvinenko. It became his DNA. And as his face lying on bold pillows fades, the poison claiming every pore, he slowly ebbs, one eye closing, then the next. How primitive all exit is. White sheets, no more than that, with someone tearful, whispering. Last questions, please. Ask, with nature in delirium, why, with leaping physicality, was the race destroyed? And the sea of sunlit staring left bold of fish. Did no tide through drugged fathoms even move? And with the rain-washed center gushing slow, a mist no longer possible, and then with every drop of its sustaining color forcibly removed, how could grief stay silent now? Didn't the rainbow, submitting to hysteria, need from its dry throat repeatedly to scream? And the last poems are flower poems, and they, of course, are dedicated to Sue, who really, though, if you know Sue, deserves much more than flowers. She deserves, first of all, a permanent position with health care and benefits and the permanency that absolutely is needed.
That would be nice.
Yes, it
Because I
would.
freelance and I don't have work now, but thank you.
Okay, that's a plug. That's a plug from the helpless.
Find me a job.
Okay. The first little flower, these are just 3 little poems. Flower power. Too much has happened. Life spilling out. Even the clocks are soaked. The minute crammed wet. There is in this overflow of energy such geyser force that flowers, their color bursting out of them, cry out to be snipped, then bound in gorgeous bundles. The southern lights spilled over them, then gathered, tripling some capacious vase, and with a whiz-bang glory suckered in, a drowning so H2 sparkling, oh superlative, that colors merge, pink, purple, red, and yellow swirled into an orange savagery, oh vast bouquet, a raging rainbow now, shake free, that's revolution to a string, smash glass and give each flower to the wind, pelt Mars with them, and how eerily appropriate that it's a flower, the iris of the eye, that sees them float. And the last flower poem is called Coming Up Negative. The world for me does not include Aristotelian triad, the first a tree, the second shrub, and thirdly all that's herbal. My interest spans a narrow range and centers on what's verbal. I'm certainly not a botanist. I'm bored with leafy things, and for their rooted, buried life, mere thought a headache brings. As for all the disciplines defining plants and flowers, I wouldn't turn a single page or waste my precious hours. They none of them are meaningful or merit scrutiny. Histology, ecology, morphology, etc., physiology, taxonomy, I'm not quite finished yet. Don't point Nicotiana out, its flower luminescent. I'm blind to poppy's silken flare and wish it deliquescent. Hibiscus is another bloom that makes me squirm and mutter. I'll never, not for any rose, pick up a spade and putter. And if by any wayward chance that I'm seduced by daisy, I'd pluck it bare. As for the heart, I'd crush it. No, too lazy. If all this seems intemperate, fixated, inelastic, except this softer look at flowers. I love them if they're plastic.
Thank you, Jane Chollick. Another round of applause, please.